Hello, a very good day. A warm welcome to all my dear PU1 students. We are meeting for the first time. So, my name is Darryl Matthew George, and I will be your English teacher along this PU1 preparation journey. So, today is officially our first class, so it's a very good day to all of you. Today, we'll be discussing in one shot all 13 chapters of your articulations your articulations textbook. So the 13 chapters, the 1 mark MCQs in the PU question bank, all of which will be covered in this session. So stay tuned, hold on. Warm welcome to you guys. So we'll start with the first chapter, Gentlemen of the Jungle. Gentlemen of the Jungle, the first question. What favor did the elephant ask the man on a rainy day? So the elephant wanted, so the correct answer is option C. So what favor did the elephant ask the man on a rainy day? The elephant wanted the man to share his hut. The elephant wanted the man to protect him from rain. The elephant wanted the man to let him put his trunk inside the man's hut. Option D. The elephant wanted the man to build a bigger and better hut. So the correct answer is option C. Moving on. So the second is a statement and assertion. Assertion and reasoning question. The elephant requested the man to let him put his trunk inside the man's hut. Reason, the elephant and the man were friends. So both statement and reason are true. So the answer is option B. Moving on. According to the elephant, who initially invited the elephant into the man's hut? It was the man. So option B is correct. The elephant flung the man out of the hut as option A, he was afraid of the rain. Option B, he wanted to protect his own skin. Option C, he did not like the man. Option D, he needed more space for his family. So the correct answer is option B, he wanted to protect his own skin. Moving on. Question 5. Which of the following statements is true? The man was included in the commission of inquiry. The elephant was punished for his actions. The man was compensated for his loss. The elephant provided lunch to the members of the commission. Option D is correct. 6th. What was the purpose of the commission of inquiry? So, to investigate the dispute between the man and the elephant, to punish the elephant for his actions. So, the first point is correct. Only one is correct. So, your answer is option A. 7. Complete the following analogy with respect to Gentlemen of the Jungle. Mr. Buffalo is member to the commission. So the leopard was the secretary. Dash was the chairman of the commission of inquiry. Option C, Mr. Fox is correct. Identify the correct sequence of events. So 1, Mr. Rhinoceros charged in with his horn. Lowered. The judgment of the commission of inquiry favored the elephant. Again, a royal commission was appointed to look into the matter. 4, the man obeyed the suggestion of the commission and built a new hut. So the correct sequence would be, so 2, 4, 1, 3 would be correct. 2, 4, 1, 3. Do we have it? 2, 4, 1, 3. Option B is correct. The judgment of the commission of inquiry favored the elephant. The man obeyed the suggestion of the commission and built a new hut. Mr. Rhinoceros charged with his horn lowered. 3, again, a royal commission was appointed to look into the matter. So option B is correct. Moving on to the next question. Which of the following best describes the tone of the fable? So the first chapter, A Gentleman of the Jungle, the tone is, among the 4 options, the more suitable is satirical. Satirical meaning, in a very sarcastic manner, you are mocking or teasing something. So that is satire. So this is more or less a satire on the European colonization. So option D is correct. 10. Which match the column A with column B related to the Gentleman of the Jungle. So elephant. Elephant was the honorable minister of the jungle kingdom. Lion wanted peace and tranquility. Fox is chairman of the commission. So 1C. 2A and 3B is correct. So the correct option is option C. Okay, moving on. What was the commission's verdict regarding the hut? So the elephant could keep the hut and the man should build a new one. Option C is correct. The elephant could keep the hut and the man should build a new one. Moving on. How did the man ultimately resolve the situation? Ultimately, as in the end, what did he do? So he took the animals into a new hut and burned it down. Option C is correct. What is the meaning of the phrase Enda ti de Diegaga Motegi? So that is a phrase in the native African tongue. So what option? Which is the correct option? So it's option B. There is nothing that treads on the earth that cannot be trapped. Yeah, 14th question. How did the elephant justify his occupation of the man's hut to the commission? So he argued that he was protecting the hut from damage is the correct option of the 4. The next question. What does the phrase race less adequately endowed with teeth and claws suggest about the commission's perspective? So they believed the man was physically weak and therefore less deserving. They admired the man's friendly nature. They felt sympathy for the man's plight. They recognized the man's skills of building new huts. Option A is correct. They believed the man was physically weak and therefore less deserving of the hut. Moving on. Which of the following statements are true? Mr. Elephant found Mr. Rhino inside the big hut. Mr. Hyena was the chairman of the commission. Mr. Elephant was one of the honorable ministers of the jungle. Mr. Alligator bars on the roof. Second, 3 and 4 are correct. So option B is the right answer. Who were appointed members of the commission of inquiry? Mr. Rhinoceros, Mr. Buffalo, Mr. Alligator, Mr. Fox and Mr. Leopard. Option A is correct. Moving on. Identify the correct sequence of events. The lion appointed a commission of inquiry and thanked the man for establishing friendship with his people. The man protested and wanted to include the commission a member from his side. The man was very pleased by the sweet words from the king of the jungle. No one from the man's side was included in the commission. So the lion appointed a commission of inquiry and thanked the man for establishing. 1 would come first. 1, 3, 4, 2 would be the right sequence. 1, 3, 4, 2. Yeah. So the lion appointed a commission of inquiry and thanked the man for establishing friendship with his people. The man was very pleased by the sweet words from the king of the jungle. No one from the man's side was included in the commission. The man protested and wanted to include in the commission a member from his side is the correct sequence. What happened when the man built a bigger and better hut? So after the first invasion of his hut, he built a second hut. So what happened? Other animals, including members of the commission, claimed the new hut for themselves. Option C is correct. Moving on. How did the man ultimately resolve the conflict with the animals? The finale, I mean, in the end, the climax, what happened? How did the man ultimately resolve the conflict with the animals? He burned down the hut, destroying the animals inside. Option C is correct. What does the fable suggest about the relationship between the Europeans and the Africans during the colonial era? So, as I said, this is a political satire, okay? So, the first chapter. So, what does it talk about? It was characterized by exploitation and injustice. Option C is correct. Moving on. What does the hurricane in the story symbolize? So, the hurricane in the story symbolizes a threat of European colonialism. Okay, option B is correct. Threat of European colonialism. According to the narrator, what does the undeveloped space in the hut represent? According to the narrator. So, it's a satire. So, they are, indirectly signifying or indirectly portraying things. So, here the undeveloped space is indirect reference to the African land. So, that was eventually taken over by Europeans. Option C is correct. What is the significance of the man's final statement? Peace is costly, but it's worth the expense. So, he believes that violence was unavoidable to achieve peace is correct. So, option A might sound correct, but it's option B. Okay, he believes that violence was unavoidable to achieve peace in this situation. Okay, 25B is correct. Match the columns, column A with column B related to gentleman of the jungle. So, elephant claimed to fulfill the duty of protecting his friend's hut. Man had no representation. Lion Please, the man established friendship with, it's not with the lion, it's actually with the elephant. So small correction in the question. Okay, it's not lion, it is elephant. So please, that the man established a friendship with the elephant. So 1B, 2C. 1B, 2C, 3A, option A is correct. What was the man's response when the commission suggested he build a new hut the first time? So he protested but eventually complied. Yeah, option B is correct. Yeah, 20th question. Statement, animals were gentlemen chosen by God to look after the interests of lesser races. Reason, the animals would investigate the matter with the greatest care and report impartially. Only statement is true with respect to the lesson. Okay, only statement is true. Moving on to the second chapter, the schoolboy. So what is the speaker's primary feelings about rising in a summer morn? Yeah, moving on to the second lesson, the schoolboy. So the first question, what is the speaker's primary feelings about rising in a summer morn? It's joy, okay. Primary feelings about rising in a summer morn, joy. Moving on, second, what sound of nature accompanies the speaker's morning? The singing of birds is correct. Moving on. What drives away the joy of the schoolboy? School. Okay, a school or the very thought of going to school. Match the column A with column B related to gentlemen of the jungle. So the bird is trapped in a cage. Teacher, cruel eye outworn. Speaker is the schoolboy. So 1B, 2C and 3. 1B, 2C, 3A. Yeah, option A. Moving on. How does the speaker describe the children's feelings at school? Okay, they sighing and in dismay, as it is mentioned in the poem, sighing and dismay. Option C is correct. Complete the following analogy about the schoolboy. Skylark dash school cage. So school is associated with cage. Skylark is sweet company. Which of the following statement is not true? The schoolboy loves to rise on a summer morn. The boy loves to go to school on summer morn. School is compared to a cage. The children in the school are compared to birds in a cage. The boy loves to go to school on a summer morn is not true. Option B is correct. What does the speaker mean by buds are nipped? Children spirits are being suppressed. Option C is correct. What does the speaker mean by blooms are blown away? Option A, flowers are wilting in the heat. Option B, children's hopes and dreams are destroyed. Option C, summer days are passing quickly. Option D, the wind is blowing strongly. Option B is correct, children's hopes and dreams are destroyed. Okay, the 10th question, the overall tone of the poem is, so option A, optimistic. Option B, pessimistic. Option C, gloomy. Option D, humorous. B and C are more or less similar options. I would go with option C, gloomy. What is the main message of the poem? So option C, the value of childhood. Option A, the importance of education. Option B, the beauty of nature. Option C, the value of childhood joy. Option D, the inevitability of change. Option C is more appropriate, the value of childhood joy. 12th question, the speaker of the poem is a schoolboy. What is the speaker's main criticism of the school system? Both option B and C are correct. It is too demanding. Option C, it ignores the needs of the children. Option C would be more appropriate. It ignores the needs of the children. Moving on. What does the speaker believe is necessary for a joyful summer? Okay. Abundant sunshine, learning in school, happy and carefree children, peaceful and quiet in mind. Happy and carefree children is the more appropriate of the four options. Option C. Complete the following analogy. Birds dash school cage. So the birds here are the children or the students. So option D is correct. Moving on. Match the column A with column B related to a schoolboy. The skylark is sweet company. School drives all joy away. Youth, summer. So 2A, 3B. Yeah. So option C is correct. Yeah, 17th question. What does the speaker imply will happen if children are denied joy in their youth? Option A, they will never experience happiness. The 18th question, the little ones spend the day in school, sighing and dismay, is correct. Option C. And blossoms blown away. Here blossoms refer to, indirectly referring to children. Moving on. Option C, children, is correct. Learning's bower refers to school. It's a metaphor for school. Moving on. Moving on to the third chapter, around a medicinal creeper. Okay. The narrator took dash years to learn about the medicinal creeper. The narrator took 20 years to learn about the medicinal creeper. Moving on to the third chapter, around a medicinal creeper. Okay, the narrator took dash years to learn about the medicinal creeper. Option A, 20 years is correct. Next question. Dash has to be protected from the sun by putting up a shade over it. A coffee seed bed. Option C is correct. This question also came for one of your tests. So third question. When the narrator and the others were erecting a bamboo frame, they sent Dash to get some creepers from the forest. They sent Sun. Option B is correct. The thief, Mara said, now it will be lying here. The thief refers to a medicinal creeper. Option B is correct. According to Mara, the medicinal creeper had been cursed by a sage. Option C is correct. Which of the following statement is true about the curse of the medicinal creeper? So when someone needs it, they won't find it. Option C is correct. Yeah, the seventh question. Which of the following statements about the medicinal creeper is false? Option A, according to Mara, the medicinal creeper has been cursed by a sage, is true. Option B, the creeper has small leaves resembling beetle leaves, is true. Option C, the medicinal creeper comes up in winter, is wrong. It comes up after the rains and flowers, quickly puts forth flowers and fruits and dies. So option C is correct. Eighth question. Mara went to Dash when he had cut his hand. Mara went to the white man Hulihindalu. Option B is correct. 9. The white doctor became angry with Mara because there was no sign of any wound, is correct. Option C. The Englishman, 10th question. The Englishman offered Dash to Mara to show him the plant that had cured Mara's cut. So the Englishman offered his entire plantation. Option A is correct. Moving on to the 11th question. Identify the correct sequence of events. In Mara's house, his wife got ready to cook. When the packet was opened, the live deer ran off. They divided the meat and wrapped it in some leaves to take it home. Mara and his friend caught a barking deer. Option 4 comes first. Option 3 comes next. Option 1 comes third, and 2 comes last. So 4, 3, 1, 2, we have option C. So Mara and his friend caught a barking deer. They divided the meat and wrapped it in some leaves to take it home. In Mara's house, his wife got ready to cook. When the packet was opened, the live deer ran off. So option C is correct. Moving on. Statement. When the leaves of the creeper were mixed with milk, it curdled. Reason. Baira told the narrator about this quality of the creeper. The reason is wrong. Statement is correct. Only the statement is true. When the leaves of the creeper were mixed with milk, it curdled. Reason. Baira told the narrator about this quality of the creeper. Option A, only the statement is true. Moving on. The author and his friend Chandru decided to experiment and brought a liter of milk. After some time, it had become, so after crushing, what did it become? It became firm and rubbery. Option C is correct. The narrator's erstwhile farmhand Dash was suffering from piles. It is Krishna. Option C is correct. So yeah, coming back, option 15. Considering the following statements, Krishna was suffering from piles. The doctors in the hospital advised Krishna not to drive a rickshaw. Option 3. The only allopathic treatment for piles was surgery. The doctors did not advise Krishna not to drive a rickshaw. So 1 and 3 are correct. Only 1 and 3 are true. Option C is correct. Moving on. The full course of treatment, the 16th question, the full course of treatment for curing the boils over Krishna's body was 10 days. Option D is correct. When Krishna suffered from piles, he had to search for a plant, dig out the tuberous root, mix it with milk and drink the medicine for 5 days is correct. One of the problems that the native doctors believe that if they told others about their medicines, the medicines would lose their potency. Option A is correct. Statement: Krishna ground the tuberous root and drank it with milk. Reason: Krishna suffered from boils. The reason is wrong. Only the statement is true. Yeah, 20th question. The narrator decided to conduct the experiment and brought a liter of milk. Reason: to find out whether the milk would curdle or remain as it is. So both the statement and the reason are true. Match the following with reference to around a medicinal creeper. So Krishna was the rickshaw driver, white man was a doctor, Chandru was a plant pathologist. So A2, B3 and C1 is correct. So option B. Moving on. Complete the following analogy with reference to around a medicinal creeper. Chandru dash Krishna is a rickshaw driver. Chandru is the plant pathologist. Yeah, the 23rd question. Which of the following statements about Mara is true? Mara did not have teeth on the right side of his mouth. Option B is correct. The next chapter, the 4th chapter, Oru Manushan by Vaidyam of the Shir. First question. The narrator points out you find yourself caught in a dangerous situation. A total stranger rescues you. Is correct. Second question. The narrator stayed in quite a big city in the valley of a mountain dash from home. Some 1,500 miles away from home is correct. Third question. The inhabitants of the big city where the narrator stayed had never been known for the quality of mercy. Option B is correct. Moving on. Consider the following. People of the big city are a cruel people. Never been known for the quality of mercy, which is true. By tradition, the people are professional soldiers is also true. Though they have lent money on interest, they do not value money highly is wrong. So only 1 and 2 are true. Option B is correct. Moving on. Dash was highly valued by the people of the big city where the narrator lived. Money was highly valued. Option C is correct. 6. The narrator taught writing addresses in English to migrant laborers. Option D is correct. Yeah, the 7th question. Which of the following statements about the narrator is false? He stayed in a very small, dingy room on a big street is wrong. It's on a dirty street. So option A is false. Moving on. What was considered great education in the writing address in English was considered big education. Option A is correct. Moving on. The people who wrote addresses were paid anything between dash for writing an address. So 1 anna and 4 annas. Option D is correct. Moving on. The next question. The narrator had dash in his wallet, his life savings at the time when he entered the restaurant. 14 rupees. Option B is correct. The narrator ate a full meal consisting of chapatis and meat curry. The bill amount came to 11 annas. Is correct. The stranger with a red turban paid dash to the restaurant keeper. Paid 11 annas. The name. 13th question. The name that was given to the fair complexioned man who helped the narrator was Mercy. Option B is correct. The man who took out from his various pockets about 5 wallets is correct. Option A. Yeah, the 15th question. Which of the following statements is not true? The narrator lived 1,500 miles away from home. The people in the big city were known for mercy. The narrator used to wake up at 4 p.m. every day. Option B is not true. The people in the big city were known for mercy. They were not known for mercy. Statement, 16th question. The narrator used to wake up at 4 p.m. usually. True. Reason, he want to save the expense on morning tea and noon meal. Both the statement and reason are true. Option C. Next question. Match the following with reference to Oru Manushan. So the restaurant bill came up to 11 annas. The narrator's wallet had a life saving of 14 rupees. Writing an address between 1 and 4 annas. So A2, B3 and C1. Option C is correct. A2, B3, C1. Yeah, option C. Moving on. 18th question. Choose the right sequence of incidents about the narrator as it is. Work from 9:30 to 11 stayed in a small room, lived in a big city, taught the neighborhood right address. Option B, he stayed in a small room, worked from 9:30 to 11 in the night, taught the neighborhood right address in English, lived in a big city. Option D, lived in a big city, he stayed in a small room, taught the neighborhood right address, worked from 9:30 to 11 in the night. Option D. The statement is false. The stranger who helped the narrator was fair complexion and blue eyes. The stranger said to the narrator, his name is Mercy. Stranger paid the bill 11 annas to the owner. At a dessert bridge, the stranger gave the narrator his wallet. Option B, the stranger said to the narrator that his name is Mercy. No, the narrator called the stranger, addressed him as Mercy. So option B is correct. Moving on, the 5th chapter, the poem, Money Madness. Who carries the grain of insanity according to D.H. Lawrence? So the multitude of, the option C, individual carries with him the grain of insanity is correct. Moving on, second question. Second question. Money has a fearful dash among men according to D.H. Lawrence. Money has option A, cruel power. Cruel power is correct. Third question. The poet in Money Madness says that the fear of not having money can become a option B. Delirium is correct. According to D.H. Lawrence, if we do not regain our sanity about money, we will start killing one another is correct. Option B. Okay, we will start killing one another. What emotion does the speaker associate with society's obsession with money in Money Madness? What emotion does the speaker associate with society's obsession with money in Money Madness? Of the four, fear is. Does the speaker associate with society's obsession with money in Money Madness? Fear. Yeah, of all the four, the best option is fear. Moving on. What is the central theme of the poem Money Madness? B. The destructive influences of money on society. Yeah. In Money Madness, the poet notes that a dash is always handed out with a pound note. Okay. Pound note. Real tremor if it's a 10 pound. So a pound note. 8th question. The poet in Money Madness opines that a 10-pound note is always handed out with a sense of a real tremor is correct. Match column A with column B related to Money Madness. So if the multitude is mad, the individual carries with him his grain of insanity. Mankind, collective madness. So 1B, 2C and 3A is correct. Option A is correct. Statement, we must have money, reason to save us from eating dirt. Both statement and reason are true. Option C. Complete the analogy with reference to Money Madness. Pound, pang. 10 pounds, real tremor. Option C is correct. Which of the following is not true regarding Money Madness? Money is our collective madness. True. Individual carries grains of insanity. True. We must kill one another for money. This fear can become delirium. Option C. We must kill one another for money is false. Okay, moving on to the 6th chapter, Babar Ali. First question. Why is Babar Ali referred to as the youngest headmaster in the world? He started teaching at a very young age is correct. Just so you know. Moving on to the next question. Where is Babar Ali's school? Moving on to the third question. What inspired Babar Ali to start teaching? A lack of teachers in his village, the poverty and illiteracy in his area, support from the government, A teacher asked him to start his own school. The poverty and illiteracy in his area is the most appropriate of the 4 options. What is the name of Babar Ali's school? Anand Shiksha Niketan. Option B is correct. Babar Ali school as in the school that he's running. Okay, Anand Shiksha Niketan. How does Babar Ali manage to keep the school running? Through donations and free teachings by volunteers. Option B is correct. So this Babar Ali started the school at a mere age of 3. Two is true. D. Option D. What is Babar Ali's primary school? Option B. To help children in his village to get an education. How does Babar Ali balance his studies and teaching? He studies in the morning and teaches in the afternoon. Option A is correct. Next question. Which is the odd pair among the following? Option A. Tulurani Hasra, crusading educationalist in the afternoon. Option B. Nasiruddin Sheikh, a jute seller. Option C. Babar Ali goes to school, college in Bahrampur. Option D. Debarita, the most educated teacher volunteer. Option C is the odd pair. Moving on. Which of the following statement best describes Babar Ali's school? Option B. Studying in Babar Ali school is free of cost. Which of the following is false about Babar Ali's story? One should be very rich to help others. Option B is wrong. Identify the correct sequence of events about Babar Ali. Yeah, the 12th question. Identify the correct sequence of events about Babar Ali. Option D. Gets up at 7 and does chores. Takes an auto rickshaw, then walks for 5 kilometers, reaches Vidyapeeth where he is a class 12th student. After his school hours, teaches in his afternoon school. Option D is correct. Moving on. Yeah, the 13th question. Identify the correct sequence of events about Anand Shiksha Niketan. Option D. The school grew out of a game. Babar and his friends played school with Babar as a teacher. They ended learning arithmetic and enjoyed it. His school started with 8 students. Option D is correct. Moving on. The 14th question. Statement: it is hard to get the children to listen in Babar's school. Reason: the rod is spared in Babar's school. Both the statement and the reason are true. Fifteenth question. Statement: a lot of families cannot afford to send their children to school. Reason: they have to pay for uniforms and books. Both the statement and reason are true. Match column A with column B related to Babar Ali. Nasiruddin Sheikh is a jute seller. Tulurani Hasra, a fishmonger. Debarita, a college student. So we have 1C, 2A, 3B. Option C is correct. Complete the analogy with reference to Babar Ali. Babar Ali is the headmaster. Nasiruddin Sheikh is a jute seller, Babar Ali's father. Yeah, the 18th question. Which of the following is not true with regard to Babar Ali school? The students of class 8 study 11 subjects. Option A is not true. Moving on. Which of the following statement is true with regard to Babar Ali? Babar Ali is the most educated among the teacher volunteers in his school. Tulurani Hazra sells fish in the morning and jute in the afternoon. Babar Ali believes that education is a man's true religion. Textbooks are free from class 1 to 5 in Babar Ali's school. Option D is correct. Textbooks are free from class 1 to 5 in Babar Ali school. Moving on, the 7th chapter, If I Was a Tree, the poem. The speaker of the poem, If I Was a Tree, wants to be a tree. Option D. Who would not ask the caste of the tree before building its nest in If I Was a Tree? A bird. Option A is correct. According to the speaker, If I Was a Tree, what would not the bird ask the tree its caste? The speaker wants to be a tree because trees are not treated as objects of defilement. Option B is correct. Choose a statement which is not correct with regard to If I Was a Tree. The bird would not ask tree caste. The shadow of the tree would not feel defiled when. Option B, the shadow of the tree would not feel defiled when cool breeze embraces the tree. Choose a statement which is true with regard to if I was a tree. The phrase dog eater refers to a tree. A tree's friendship with sunlight would be sweet. Mother Earth would not flee shouting for a bath. Option D is correct. Mother Earth would not flee shouting for a bath. What wouldn't feel defiled when sunlight embraces the tree? A tree's shadow. Option A is correct. Moving on. The dash would embrace the tree in the poem if I was a tree. The sunlight would embrace the tree in the poem if I was a tree. Option B is correct. Match the following with reference to the poem If I Was a Tree and choose the correct option. So, the bird, the nest, the sacred cow, 300,000 gods, piece of dry wood, holy fire. So, A3, B2, A3, B1 and, sorry. A3, B1, C2. Yeah, so option D. Match the following with reference to the poem If I Was a Tree and choose the correct option. Match the following with reference to the poem If I Was a Tree and choose the correct option. Sunlight, embrace, cool breeze, friendship, piece of dry wood, pear. So A3, B1 and C2. Option C. Moving on. Whose friendship with cool breeze would be sweet? A tree's friendship with the cool breeze would be sweet. Option A is correct. 13th question. Who would not flee shouting for a bath in If I Was a Tree? The Mother Earth would not flee shouting for a bath. Option B is correct. According to the speaker, when would not the Mother Earth flee shouting for a bath in If I Was a Tree? When option C, when the tree branches out further from its roots. Where are the 300,000 gods sheltered? Inside the sacred cow. Option A is correct. The dash is hacked into pieces of dry wood to burn in the holy fire. The tree. Option B is correct. The speaker's friendship with the cool breeze and leaves would be sweet. Option C is correct. The dash would scrape her body on the bark of the tree, and If I Was a Tree. The sacred cow. Option D is correct. How does the speaker want to be purified in the poem If I Was a Tree? By becoming the beer for a sinless body. Option B is the more appropriate of the four. The dash becomes a beer for sinless body in the poem If I Was a Tree. Pieces of dry wood is a more appropriate option. Complete the analogy with reference to the poem If I Was a Tree. Bird, nest, cool breeze, friendship. Complete the analogy with reference to the poem If I Was a Tree. Leaves, friendship, sacred cow, 300,000 gods. Yeah. Choose the odd combination out with reference to If I Was a Tree. Cool breeze, friendship, pieces of dry wood, holy fire, leaves, friendship, the bird, beer. Option D is the odd pair. Statement. Mother Earth would not flee shouting for a bath. Reason. Nature as a concept of defilements. Only statement is true, not the reason. Both the statement and reason are true, and the reason is not the correct explanation for the given statement is correct. Option C. 25th question statement. Okay, moving on to the next chapter. Moving on to the next chapter, Watchmen of the Lake. First question, why was the headman in a hurry to complete the roadwork? Option A, the king was to pass by that way in 2 days and the road had to be ready by then, is correct. Option A. The village headman considered Dash as a lunatic, the watchman of the lake, Mara. Option B is correct. The village headman was angry with Mara because he disturbed the road work. Option B is correct. The village headman asked Mara to keep away from the road workers because Mara was disturbing them by talking about his dream. Option A is correct. Choose the statement which is false with reference to the poem Watchmen of the Lake. Poem, it's actually the lesson. According to Mara, the village headman was jealous of him. The village headman did not. So the more appropriate of the four options is option D. Mara was a fool and was destroying the road. He was not destroying the road. Yeah, moving on. So option D is correct. According to Mara, why was the village headman jealous of him? Mara would become Mara had a vision of the goddess is the more appropriate option of the four. Yeah. Dash threatened, the next question. Dash threatened to lock up Mara if he did not go out of sight for 2 days. So it is the village headman. Okay. Yeah, it's correct. The next question. Dash commanded Mara to tell the king to build a tank to the river Veda, the goddess. Option C is correct. Moving on. Who helped Mara to escape from the cellar? It was Bhima himself. Mara was hiding in the tree for the king. Moving on. Mara was hiding in the tree waiting for the king. Okay, king to arrive. Option C is correct. When the king was passing through Mara's village, there was a sudden confusion as Mara jumped down from the branches of a tree before the king. Option D is correct. Match the column A with column B with reference to the lesson Watchmen of the Lake and choose the correct options. Okay. Mara, Bhima has the soul of a baby, and Sanjeevani, Mara, River Veda. So A3, B1, C2. Option C is correct. Complete the analogy with reference to Watchmen of the Lake. Goddess, River Veda, Mara, Ganga. So River Veda is like a child to goddess, the plaything, and Ganga is Mara's child. Choose a statement that is not correct reason which made Mara to wait for the king hiding in a tree. Mara did not want to meet the king in public. The villagers stoned Mara at sight. The village headman commanded him to go out of the village. Mara was imprisoned in a cellar. Mara did not want to meet the king in public. Option A is incorrect. Who had given Bhima iron decoction when he was a baby? Bhima's mother. Dash described as someone who could swing an elephant by its tail. D. Bhima is correct. Where was Mara held as a prisoner in Watchmen of the Lake? The cellar behind the old temple is correct. Okay, moving on. Next question. Dash was bound and thrown into a cellar in Watchmen of the Lake. It was Mara. Option A is correct. Who had come in Mara's dream to talk about the tank, the goddess? Option A is correct. Moving on. Which of the following is true with reference to the command of the goddess to Mara? Which of the following is true with? To wait for the king in the tree, to tell the king to build a Option B, to tell the king to build a tank for the river Veda. Next question. Who was initially appointed as a watchman of the lake by the king in Watchmen of the Lake? It is Mara. Option C. According to Mara, which of the following statement is true in reference to the command of the goddess about the creatures of the lake? Nothing that flies, swims or walks should ever be killed. Option D is correct. Dash is described as the lifeblood of the king's subjects. River Veda, the waters of Veda. Option D is correct. Dash summoned the king on the torrential night. Mara. Option C is correct. 25th question. Where did Hanuman find Sanjeevani according to Mara in Watchmen of the Lake? Option D, on the mountain near Mara's village, is most appropriate. The goddess considered river Veda has her own plaything. What was the mood of the goddess when she appeared in front of Mara on the stormy night? Angry, unkind and demanding. Dash was appointed as the watchman of the lake after Mara. Mara's son Ganga was appointed the watchman of the lake. Who ordered Ganga to perform his father's duties after the death of Mara? The king himself. Whose idol was installed on the top pedestal in the shrine? The goddesses. So the goddess whose Dash idol was installed on the lower pedestal in the shrine was that of Mara's. Next question. Choose the right sequence of incidents as they take place in Watchmen of the Lake. The goddess commands Mara to meet the king. The king believes Mara. Mara escapes and hides in a tree. The village headman imprisons Mara. The king believes. So option D is more appropriate. The goddess commands Mara to meet the king. The village headman imprisons Mara. Mara escapes and hides in a tree. And the king believes Mara. Option D. Choose the right sequence of incidents as it take place in Watchmen of the Lake. Option C. Mara becomes the watchman of the lake. The goddess appears on a stormy night. The goddess threatens to destroy the lake. Mara sacrifices his life to save the lake. Option C is correct. 34. Statement. Mara was appointed as the watchman of the lake. Reason. The king believed Mara's vision and builds a lake. So lake not builds a lake, it's supposed to be builds a tank. Okay. So both statement and the reason are true. Thirty-fifth question. According to Ganga, which of the following statements is false about the shrine that overlooks the lake? Worship at the shrine is performed on the evenings of every Monday. Option C. Statement. Mara rushed to the king's palace on a stormy night. Reason. Mara wanted to save the life of his son Ganga. So only the statement. Sorry. So a reason is not the correct explanation for the given statement is true. Option B. According to Mara, the goddess on the stormy night was in a mood of destruction, waiting for Mara to return from the kingdom. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Option C. According to Mara, on the crest of the mountain, Hanuman found Sanjeevani. Option only 1 is correct. 39th question. What is the correct order of happenings about Mara's dream? So the third, option 3 would come first. Mara saw the goddess in his vision. The goddess stood before him. The goddess said that the river Veda was a plaything. The goddess commanded Mara to tell the king to build a tank. Option D is correct. What is the correct order of happenings when Mara met the king? Mara jumps down from the tree. Mara told the king about the command of the goddess. Mara described to the king about the significance of this. Mara gave. So 1 obviously comes first. 4, the king gave Mara an audience. 3 and 2. 1, 4, 3, 2. Option C is correct. The next chapter, the farmer's wife. Which of the following statements is wrong? Which of the following statements is wrong? The speaker is complaining about her husband's death. The speaker calls her husband as virtuous. The poem ends with a deep sense of failure and despondency. The speaker was ill-treated by her husband in his drunken state. The poem ends with a deep sense of failure and despondency. No, the poem ends with optimism. In the poem, the farmer's wife dash committed suicide due to crop failure. The farmer. Which is the odd pair among the following? Virtue is a farmer, harvest of my womb, crops. A poor sinner, the farmer's wife, worm-eaten cotton pods, children. Harvest of my womb is not the crops, it is the children. Who was born with a head bent and a hand stretched? It is the farmer's wife, option C. In the poem, the farmer's wife dash was not unused to being sold. Farmer's wife dash found release with poison due to crop failure. It is the farmer, option D. Whose existence was poisoned due to farmer's death? It is his wife, option C. The farmer gave a death blow to his wife, option C is correct again. The farmer's wife agrees that the dash of her family hit the dust. In the poem, the farmer's wife, dignity hit the dust, option B is correct. After the death of the farmer, his wife would have to bear the burden of 4 children, is correct. Yeah. Complete the analogy with reference to the farmer's wife. Farmer, poison. Farmer's wife, embracing life, is correct. The farmer's wife wants to teach dash her children to clench fists not merely for a handful of rice. Option C is correct. The farmer's wife does not want to leave dash to the wind like worm-eaten cotton pods. Her children. Option A is correct. How many times have I drowned in it? How many times have I escaped death? Identify speaker of these lines. Farmer's wife. Option B is correct. What does this farmer's wife not want to teach her children? She does not. Option C, not want. So option C is correct. The next chapter. Moving on, Frederick Douglass. According to Frederick Douglass, most of the white masters wished to keep the slaves ignorant of their age. Option A is correct. Frederick Douglass writes that he had never met a slave who could tell of his birthday. Option C is correct. Third question. According to the narrator, the want of information about his age or birthday was a source of unhappiness. Option B is correct. Moving on. Frederick Douglass came to know of his approximate age when he heard his master saying he was 17 in 1935. Dash was the mother of Frederick Douglass, Harriet Bailey. Which of the following statements is believed to be true about the parents of Frederick Douglass? It is believed to be true about the parents of Frederick. His mother was a slave woman and father a white master is true. According to Frederick Douglass, what was a common custom in Maryland to separate slave children from their mothers at an early age? Eighth question. Frederick Douglass had not seen his mother more than 4 or 5 times. Option D is correct. Frederick Douglass' mother was hired by dash. So Mr. Stewart's farm near Lee's Mill is correct. Who lived 12 miles away from his home is correct. Yeah. Next question. According to the law in Maryland, the children of slave women shall follow the conditions of their mothers. Okay, moving on. Frederick Douglass was a mulatto child because his mother was a colored slave and father was a white man. Option C is correct. The first master of Frederick Douglass was Captain Anthony. Option D. Who was the overseer of Captain Anthony's farms and slaves? Mr. Plummer. Which of the following statement is not true about Mr. Plummer? Option D. As narrated by, next question, 16. As narrated by Frederick Douglass, whipping a slave was a source of great pleasure for Captain Anthony. Only one is correct. As narrated by Frederick Douglass. Match the column A with column B related to Frederick Douglass. Harriet Bailey is Frederick Douglass's mother. Betsy Bailey is his grandmother. Anna Murray is his wife. So we have 1C, 2B, 3A. Option B is correct. Moving on. Match the column A with column B in reference to Frederick Douglass. A mulatto child, that is Frederick Douglass. An overseer, Mr. Plummer. A slave holder, Captain Anthony. So 3C, 2A, and 3C. Okay, we have the wrong set of options here. It's actually supposed to be Frederick Douglass 1B and 2A. So we do not have 1B and 2A together. Okay, so this is the correct option. We do not have the correct option here. 2A, 3B. So this is the correct option. It's supposed to be 1B, 2A, 3C. Slaveholder, Captain Anthony is a slaveholder. Plummer is the overseer of slaves, and Frederick Douglass being the mulatto child. 19th question. Frederick Douglass had no accurate knowledge of his age. Reason: he had never seen any authentic records containing it. Both are correct. Yeah, moving on to the 11th chapter, An Old Woman. So, first question, statement: the old woman in An Old Woman wants a 50 paise coin from the speaker. Reason: she's a beggar at the horseshoe shrine. The reason is wrong, only the statement is true. Option A is correct. She's not a beggar. How much money does the old woman demand from the speaker? A 50 paise coin is what she demands. Option A. When does the old woman tighten her grip on the speaker's shirt? When he says that he has already seen the horseshoe shrine. Option C is correct. Which of the following statements is not true with regard to the poem An Old Woman? The old woman is a beggar on the hills is not true. She's not a beggar. Option B. In the poem An Old Woman, the speaker dashed the old woman with an air of finality to end the farce. Turns around and faces the old woman with an air of finality to end the farce. Option C is correct. They stick to you like a burr. The word they refer to old women. Option D is correct. 7. The old woman says, what else can an old woman do on the hills as wretched as these? It means that she wants to work, but she doesn't have any other work to do on the hills. Option B is correct. 8th question. The old woman's eyes are compared to bullet holes. Option D. Dash that begins around the old woman's eyes spread beyond her skin, the cracks, is correct. That speaker in An Old Woman says that dash falls with a plate glass clatter around the shatterproof crone, the sky, is correct. Who is referred to as a shatterproof crone in An Old Woman? The old woman. Option A. In the poem An Old Woman, you refers to option B, any pilgrim whom the old woman meets. Option B. Okay, moving on to the 12th chapter, The Two Gentlemen of Verona. First question. Where did the narrator meet the two boys? So, on the outskirts of Verona is correct. Second question, statement. The narrator bought the biggest basket of wild strawberries from Nicola and Jacopo. Reason. The driver Luigi suggested the narrator to buy the fruits from Nicola and Jacopo. Only statement is true. Dash are reputed to have lived in Verona. Romeo and Juliet is correct. Nicola was dash years old. Nicola is the older sibling. He is 13. Option C is correct. Fifth question. Which of the following is not true about Nicola and Jacopo in Two Gentlemen of Verona? They sold fruits in newspaper. They polished shoes and worked as tourist guides. They had an unremitting willingness to work. They spent their entire earnings on food and clothes. Option D is not true. Moving on to the sixth question. Nicola and Jacopo were waiting for the last bus from Padua to sell newspapers. Option D is correct. Nicola and Jacopo were waiting for the last bus from Padua. Option A. Where did Nicola and Jacopo go every Sunday? They went to Polita. Option D is correct. Ninth question. Statement. In spite of earning money with a lot of hard work, they looked shabby. Reason. They were saving their earnings for the medical expenses of their sister. The statement is true and the statement and the reason are true. Option D is correct. Tenth question. Complete the analogy with reference to two gentlemen of Verona. Verona, lovely city. Polita is a Polita is a tiny picturesque village. Option D is correct. 11. Lucia was treated for tuberculosis of the spine in Polita. Option D is correct. 10th question, option D, tiny picturesque village. Moving on to the 12th question, match column A with column B related to two gentlemen of Verona. German elite guards, harsh and unwanted masters in Verona. Lucia suffered from tuberculosis. Niccolo and Jacopo sold fruits and newspapers in Verona. So that is 1C, 2B, 3A. Option C. Dash was a singer at La Scala. So it was Nicola and Jacopo's father. Option A is correct. Nicola and Jacopo's father. 14th question. Lucia had been training herself as a singer. Option A is correct. 15th question. How long had it been since Lucia was admitted in the hospital? It has been 12 months. Option A is correct. 16th question. According to the nurse, Dash was scarce in Verona. Work was scarce in Verona. 16th question, A. Moving on to the 17th question. Which of the following is not true about Nicola and Jacopo in Two Gentlemen of Verona? Their father was killed in the early part of the war. B. A bomb had destroyed their home. C. They suffered from near starvation exposed to cold winter. D. They were happy that Verona was ruled by German elite guards for 3 years. Option D. They were in fact unhappy with the German elite guards. 18th question. The 18th question. How long did the German elite guards rule Verona? So for 3 years they ruled Verona. 18th question. Arrange the following events in a sequence. The narrator drove the two boys to Polita. The narrator is strangely attracted to the two boys. The narrator offered help to the two boys. The narrator met the two boys on the outskirts of Verona. 4, 2, 3, 1. Okay. 4, 2, 3, 1 is correct. So the narrator met the two boys on the outskirts of Verona. The narrator is strangely attracted to the two boys. The narrator offered help to the two boys. The narrator drove the two boys to Polita. Option B is correct. Arrange the 19th question. Arrange the following events about Nicola and Jacopo in a sequence. The boys kept themselves alive in a shelter built with their own hands. The father was killed in the early part of the war. They found that Lucia was suffering from tuberculosis. The bomb had destroyed their home and thrown 3 children into the streets. So 2 comes first. 4 comes next. 1 and 3. So their father was killed in the early part of the war. A bomb had destroyed their home and thrown 3 children into the streets. The boys kept themselves alive in a shelter built with their own hands. They found that Lucia was suffering from tuberculosis. Option B is correct. 20th question. The two boys were evasive in disclosing their plan to the narrator because they thought that they could never understand their plight. They did not want to gain anybody's sympathy. They did not like the narrator. They did not trust anybody. The most appropriate option of the 4 would be they did not want to gain anybody's sympathy. 21st question. The villa in Polita had been changed into a hospital. Option A is correct. Yeah, moving on. The last chapter in our reflections textbook. The poem, Do Not Ask of Me, My Love. The first question, what gave the spring everlasting youth? The beloved's beauty. Option A. The speaker of the poem tells his beloved not to ask the love he once had for her. Option D is correct. The theme of the poem is emotional complexity. Option B. The poet's beloved beauty The poet's beloved's beauty gave the dash everlasting youth. Spring, option A is correct. Fifth, the speaker is addressing his beloved, option A. Complete the analogy. The poet's obsession with his beloved is illusion. The sorrows and pleasures in the world is reality, option A. The speaker says, don't ask of me, my love, that love I once had for you, because there are other sorrows and pleasures demanding his attention, option B. Eighth question, the speaker thought that the world was with him when his beloved was with him, option A is correct. For there are other sorrows in the world than love. Here sorrows refers to miseries caused by poverty. Deprivation is the most suitable of the options. Yeah, with that we conclude the MCQ discussion of all the 13 chapters. Stay tuned for more such videos, informative videos. So we'll be having question paper discussion also in the next few days time. So in the meanwhile, prepare well. All the best for your preparatory as well as your final exams. All the best. This is DMG signing off. Thank you.